they were with spectacles. And I've got testify the truth. Half these rappers are only gangsters in the booth. If they ain't never been to no pen, they just hold one. Me, I be no gangster, I'm just telling you the truth. I don't wanna game like. That's why everybody keep saying what you heard to me. Guys can be in the game and ice for the bite, let's feed my foe. But them guys gonna never feed my flow. Swing all the way from the youth to the cave, load of Bacardi up in the Tito. Getting over the cities I've sold in it. I don't wanna do no less to go today. That's the goal in it. Haters, they ain't doing it under the mic, but holding it. They're slow with it. So they can never begin to the king of the new school. I'm into the Bluetooth. That's my control. Like the Westside teachers beautiful. People down in England ain't all wild, but some places in Britain ain't the place to raise your child. Cause even the royal family ain't all smiles. Cause everybody knows Harry don't look like Charles. See, I've never been to court and I've never been on trial, boys. Never been caught even though I've been around, boy. What's that thing in your hand? Put it down, boy. Cause you're not you're a sound boy. Boys, everyone's a bad man. Boys, everyone's a bad man. The summer goes and the summer goes boys, everyone's a bad man. The mic boys, and everyone's a bad man. The summer goes and the summer goes pound is stronger than the dollar. Sway, I ran up in this game like a robber without but now I've been around in the bro. Won a couple of awards now, round of applause. And now I'm making peas and I'm pleasing my people. Not even a Jamiroquai hat could fit my ego. None of these rappers ain't real, they're just rapping high. Why you shouting all the time? Don't you have a mind? Run up in the club like we out. Bust two lyrics then we out. Them boys talk to we out. But then like me out. And they don't really want no war time. This rap game is all mine. It will never be your time. Now it's my time. And I got more time. So settle down, boy. Before I make you look like something like a clown, boy. What's that thing in your hand? Put it down, boy. Cause you're not you're a sound boy. Boys, everyone's a bad man. Boys, everyone's a bad man. The summer goes and the summer goes boys, everyone's a bad man. Boys, everyone's a bad man. The summer goes and the summer goes flyer. If you're a pliers, no, you're lying now because we live in a lie. And then we're lying down. Look at my Adam's apple. It's not that my neck hurts. No, it's just the truth. It's hard to swallow when you can see that I'm an expert. So let me elaborate as I navigate like a husky. But trust me, the truth is I wouldn't even trust me. Many rely on religion, that doesn't make sense because that's considered a sin. It is really no winning because everyone hovers a line within them. It's just that we're different. Being a bad liar is like having a bad lawyer. As soon as they get caught, they get the sentence after. A good lie is benevolent, with a memory like an elephant, intelligent, and knows exactly when to lies spread around like viruses. So how can I survive in this? Cause even the truth lies in people's irises. So how could I resist? I had to lie to write this verse. Got my talent for twisting words, hence my title, I'm a lyrist. Put it for the people that leave alone, cause they're gonna make money, you leave alone. I'm a businessman, I don't leave the phone, but you lie to the people and leave them on. You're not a bad boy, no, I got a bad boy flow. Cause when in Rome, you do what the Romans do, especially when all roads lead to Rome. You need to stop pretending. Your mixtapes are still in boxes, cause you don't have a fan in your bedroom. What's that thing in your hand? Put it down, boy. Cause you're not you're a sound boy. Boys, everyone's a bad man. Boys, everyone's a bad